Hello and welcome back to Route to Resilience, the space where we explore the connection between mind, body and lived experience in a grounded, practical and compassionate way. I'm Anupa, resilience coach, speaker and practitioner in training. Today's episode is a deeper dive from my previous conversation on the mind-body connection. In that episode, we explored how our emotions and experiences are stored in the body. And today I want to go a step further, because it's one thing to understand that the mind and body are connected, but it's another thing entirely to understand what is actually happening inside the body that creates anxiety, fatigue, emotional overwhelm, or that feeling of I should be fine, but I'm not. So in this session, I'm going to break down 3 core functional wellness concepts: the HPA axis, which is your stress response system, the blood sugar regulation and emotional stability, and the triangle of hormonal health. And my intention is simple: not to overwhelm you with science, but to help you understand your body in a way that creates awareness, not blame. Because when you understand the system, you stop judging yourself for how it responds. So let's start with the HPA axis. As I said earlier, it's your stress response system. So this stands for hypothalamus, a small area in the brain that acts like your body's control center. It constantly monitors what's going on in your body and decides if you're safe or under stress, and its key functions include regulating body temperature, hunger, sleep-wake cycles, stress response, sex drive, and emotional responses. The P stands for pituitary gland, and is often called the messenger gland because it receives messages and signals from the hypothalamus and sends instructions to other glands in the body, including the adrenals. And the A stands for adrenal glands, and this sits on top of your kidneys and releases stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, and these hormones prepare your body to respond to stress. So together they form your body's stress communication system. So you can think of this like a conversation. So when your brain senses stress, whether that stress is physical, emotional, or even perceived stress, it sends a message to the adrenals to release cortisol. So cortisol is your primary stress hormone, and in the short term, this is really helpful. It keeps you alert, it keeps you focused and able to respond. But the key point is that this system was designed for short bursts of stress, so not constant activation. However, in the modern world, this system is often working far more than it was designed to. We're now not just responding to occasional stress, but we are often living in a constant state of low-level activation. So this could be due to many factors, such as work pressures, long working hours, financial stress, insecurity, information overload, constant notifications, poor sleep, and irregular routines, emotional stress, or unresolved past experiences, overstimulation from technology and social media, lack of rest and recovery time. There is many more reasons. So under chronic stress, what happens is the system stops switching off properly. The feedback loop that should tell the body we're safe now becomes less efficient. And over time, this can lead to a wide range of symptoms, such as feeling tired but wired, anxiety or restlessness, sleep disruption, digestive issues like IBS, changes in menstrual cycles, cravings for sugar or salt, low mood or emotional sensitivity. And I always simplify this for clients like this. Your body isn't broken, it's just responding to a system that believes it's under pressure. So it's there to help you. And the important part here is not to be fearful or to feel hopeless. It's for awareness, because once you understand this, you stop trying to think your way out of a physiological state. So we've just been through the HPA axis, and I hope that was explained well for all you guys. The second bit I want to go into is blood sugars and emotional stability. Now, blood sugar refers to the level of glucose in your bloodstream, which is your body's main source of energy. So every time we eat, blood sugar naturally rises in response to the body releasing a hormone called insulin, which helps move glucose from the bloodstream into the cells. This glucose is then either used for immediate energy or stored as glycogen in the liver and muscles for later use. So when blood sugar is stable, the body can also use another hormone called glucagon, which helps release stored energy when needed. In a well-regulated system, this creates a smooth balance between energy use, storage, and release. However, when the blood sugars become unstable, often due to skipped meals, high sugar intake, stress, or irregular eating patterns, this balance is disrupted. We begin to see what is commonly referred to as a blood sugar roller coaster, where levels spike after eating and then drop too low afterwards. So when blood sugar drops too low, the body interprets this as a stress signal. In response, it releases stress hormones such as adrenaline and cortisol to bring levels back into balance. At this point, the body is no longer only regulating energy, it is activating a survival response. Because the brain perceives this drop as a form of stress, and this can create both physical and emotional effects, including anxiety or panic, irritability or mood swings, overwhelm, difficulty concentrating, low mood or emotional flatness, feeling reactive or on edge. So what can often feel like emotional instability is actually a physiological response happening in real time. A simple example would be someone skips breakfast, has coffee in the morning, and then goes several hours without eating. Their blood sugar may begin to drop significantly by midday. The brain detects this change and signals as a stress response. The body then releases adrenaline to restore balance. At that point, the person may suddenly feel shaky, anxious, snappy, or unable to focus, and may assume something is wrong emotionally, but in reality, the body is just simply responding to a physiological imbalance and doing exactly what it is designed to do. So over time, if this pattern continues, the body can become more reliant on stress hormones to regulate energy, which may further impact emotional resilience and overall stability. So this is why blood sugar regulation is such a foundational aspect of wellness and well-being, because it directly influences not only energy but also mood, stress response, and emotional regulation. So from a client perspective, I often explain it like this. When blood sugar is unstable, the body can interpret normal fluctuations in energy as stress, but when we begin to stabilize blood sugar through regular balanced nutrition and lifestyle patterns, we often see improvements not just in physical energy, but in emotional balance as well. So I hope that everything that I have explained so far is easy for you to follow, but it just shows how important it is to make sure that your blood sugars are stable, and how important it is that you are making sure you put the right things in your body, because our body is sending signals and messages all the time that it is under stress, and we need to help it. And now we're going to bring everything together with what is called the triangle of hormonal health. Now, this is the connection between stress hormones like cortisol, blood sugar regulation like insulin and glucose, and sex hormones like estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. Now, the key thing to understand is this: these systems do not operate independently, they are constantly influencing one another. So when one side of the triangle becomes imbalanced, the others are affected. Let's simplify it like this: when blood sugar drops, cortisol increases to stabilize it. When cortisol increases, it impacts sex hormones and digestion. When stress is high, the body prioritizes survival over reproduction and digestion. Now, this can lead to slow digestion, reduced immune functions, shifts in hormonal balance, reduced emotional resilience, and this is why people often experience multiple symptoms at once, like gut issues, fatigue, anxiety, hormonal imbalance, immune sensitivity, not because everything is separate, but because everything is connected. To understand the hormone side more clearly, estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone are not only reproductive hormones, they also influence mood, energy, sleep, cognition, and stress tolerance. So when the body is under chronic stress, it prioritizes survival over reproduction, and this can lead to hormonal shifts like reduced progesterone, affecting the nervous system regulation, fluctuations in estrogen, influencing mood and sensitivity, changes in testosterone affecting energy, motivation, and resilience. So, what we're often seeing is not an isolated imbalance, but a cascaded effect across the system. So, from a client perspective, I would explain it like this. Your body prioritizes survival over everything else. So when stress is high, your system shifts resources away from digestion, reproduction, and long-term repair. And when that pattern continues over time, we begin to see a wider system dysregulation, not isolated symptoms. This is particularly relevant for many women I work with who are going through hormonal transitions, including perimenopause and menopause, who are experiencing ongoing hormonal imbalance. And often they notice that even small lifestyle adjustments, such as stabilizing blood sugars, improving sleep quality, and reducing their stress load, or supporting their nervous system regulation, can make significant differences in how they feel day to day. Not because the body is fragile, but because the system is highly responsive to balance and being restored. So this is why the triangle of hormonal health is so important, because it shows us that symptoms are not separate problems. They are part of one connected system, trying to adapt, protect, and survive. So when we bring all three concepts together, what we begin to see is a pattern. Stress affects blood sugar affects hormones affect stress responses, and the system becomes in this negative loop. And this is what I refer to in my work as the root system, because what looks like emotional overwhelm on the surface is often a deeper physiological pattern underneath. And this is where root to resilience comes in, because resilience is not about forcing positivity or ignoring symptoms. It's about understanding the root systems that are shaping your experiences. And once you see the root, you can begin to change. So if you take anything from this session, let it be this. Your body is always communicating with you. Stress and blood sugar are deeply connected. Symptoms are signals, not failures. And awareness is the first step in regulation. Most importantly, if you feel like you're falling apart or you're broken, you are not. You are responding to a system that can be understood, supported, and rebalanced. So there is a way out of this. We just need to develop a bit more awareness. So thank you for being here for this core wellness concept session on root to resilience. Like I said earlier, this is a deeper dive from my previous episode, the mind-body connection, and I would really encourage you to listen to that one as well as this one. And if it has resonated, and I hope it has helped you see your body as not as something to fight against, but as something to understand. Because when we understand the system, we can begin to change the experience. And this is where resilience begins. And remember, as I always say, resilience is your superpower. Thank you.